Short videos in this quiz will help you to review what we went over in class and possibly help you avoid watching the whole entire video that is in Blackboard Collaborate, because I do want to go over these main points. One of the first points that we went over was the question on the multimedia quiz about the telegram that Malcolm X sent to King in 1964. He didn't get kicked out of the Nation of Islam quite yet, but his changing ideas about how the Nation of Islam should involve itself in politics when it had a disengagement policy, and also the comments that he makes that are unauthorized and even forbidden about the Kennedy assassination are two moments that really help Malcolm break from the Nation of Islam. Therefore, I think when he sends this telegram to Martin Luther King and says, "Let the fruit of Islam come show you how to practice self-defense nonviolently," he doesn't say nonviolently, but when we think about the image of the men lined up to protect Brother Johnson and to stop people from rioting at the hospital, in the scene we watched last week from the Malcolm X film, you can see that Malcolm probably wants to deploy the Nation of Islam or the Fruit of Islam a little bit more actively to bring about change. And again, this is completely unauthorized from Elijah Muhammad, who is the supreme leader of the Nation of Islam. Therefore, Malcolm is really breaking the rules by taking the initiative to reach out to Martin Luther King Jr. So on the second page here in our excerpt, Malcolm talks about his personal disappointment that the Nation of Islam could have been a greater force in the struggle, but it wasn't because it had a non-engagement policy. Another thing that happens is when Kennedy is assassinated, Elijah Muhammad immediately sends telegrams to all of the ministers and says, "Don't say anything. Just say no comment." Medgar Evers is murdered, no comment. The little girls die in Birmingham, no comment. And I imagine this started to antagonize Malcolm X, particularly when he found out that Elijah Muhammad had committed adultery. But one real breaking point is when John F. Kennedy is assassinated. As long as I did nothing, I felt it was the same as being disloyal. Somebody needed to stand up. So he tries to continue to support Elijah Muhammad, but it doesn't go that well for him. And when we get to the assassination, which is on page 13 of the handout of the reading, Elijah Muhammad specifically says, "Do not say anything. Say no comment." Malcolm says at a public speech, "Well, it's like the chickens coming home to roost. A nation that practices so much violence is going to have violence take away its most beloved leader." That gets interpreted and really misinterpreted by the press. It's somewhat similar to when Dr. King says injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, but taken out of context, it makes it seem as though Malcolm X claims that Kennedy deserved to die, and that's not actually what he said. If you look at page 13 here, you can see that that's where the controversy comes from.